Episode 3 of our Crystal Palace career mode, and we're ready to begin our second season. After a mid-table finish last year, we're looking to improve this Crystal Palace squad and try to meet these ambitious objectives set by the board. Qualifying for Europa League is going to be a stretch. We're never going to have the largest budget with Palace, but we could see that 50 million figure rise with other clubs interested in our star players. Michael Olise saw his rating skyrocket last season. There have been some reports in the past of Arsenal looking to make this transfer, and with Bukayo Saka making the surprise move to Newcastle, this is a deal that Arteta needs to make. We'll receive a B grade for this transfer as Olise goes on a 45 million fee. We could have even seen that number a bit higher, closer to 50 million. Vieira is known to be very tactical with his incoming arrivals, often taking a risk on younger players that don't necessarily have proven experience. Noni Madueke falls under that criteria as a former Crystal Palace and Spurs Academy player who has solidified himself as a rising talent in the Eredivisie. If we're ever going to make a move for Madueke, it's best to do it now before he grows even higher in his rating and other top clubs start generating more interest. At a transfer fee of just 25 million compared to his 29 million evaluation, we brought in a player with a very similar playstyle to Olise and potential which is right on par. Those leftover funds can now be used towards upgrading at the goalkeeper position, and we've got a unique storyline transfer with David Soria. Our current number one, Vicente Guaita, is obviously getting up there in age, and a move back to Spain and one of his previous clubs could be a great send-off to his career. Soria has consistently ranked as one of the top players in La Liga for goalkeeper metrics, and after some failed trial attempts in England earlier in his career, he could have a point to prove. 17.5 million plus Guaita as part of the swap deal won't go down as one of the most financially savvy transfers in this series. But here's to hoping Soria can help us clean up some of our defensive worries. And while we're on the topic of our defense, our final few signings will give us some needed squad depth. Lee Buchanan is a highly rated fullback who was previously at Derby County. He just made the transfer to Werder Bremen in the Bundesliga. I'm surprised he was available on a free transfer considering he's been a regular player for a Bremen side that has looked solid in their return to Germany's top flight. But shout out to all of you that left transfer suggestions for some of last season's relegated sides. Of the three, I'm probably the most familiar with Southampton, and I can guarantee that Moussa Djenepo is a certified baller. He's actually playing more of a defensive role this season for the Saints, so hopefully we're able to acquire a good utility player. It's another solid deal at just 5 million for the transfer fee, which will mark our third A grade of the summer. When looking at Djenepo's positions, left wing obviously stands out. He's going to get a +2 in his overall rating at that role. And now we'll turn our attention to some of these youth academy scouts, still having the original 5-star, 4-star scout to begin with, who will pretty much be staying in England for the entirety of this series. But now that we have some leftover funds over, I'm asking for you all to leave a comment which countries you would like to see scouted in the future episodes, as we have 2 5-star, 5-star ones available. We were able to bring in Ed Holden last season, and after a loan spell, it looks like his attributes are more aligned towards a striker role. It's a +5 to his overall at striker, and he'll once again be spending the season out on loan. Hopefully with a little bit more progress, he can be a substitute player for us next year. But as our Premier League season kicks off against Chelsea, who lost out on the title in last year's final match day, I felt like there was still something missing in this Palace squad, especially if we want to make that push up towards qualifying for European competitions. When scouting out some of the players that Vieira has previously managed, Yangel Herrera is a very interesting prospect. Just 25 years old and officially signed to Manchester City, he's been loaned out practically every season, but he does boast some impressive attributes. He led Venezuela to the Under-20 World Cup final, captaining that side. And generally speaking, he's had some very successful seasons out on loan in La Liga. For 15 million, we brought in a player that can be featured at a variety of positions, either at center defensive mid or that right center mid role that Eze currently occupies. And all in all, I'm very confident with this new look Palace squad. Chelsea will be a great first test to see how we do in the Premier League this year. It's a short trip away to Stamford Bridge. We can expect to have plenty of support for this opening Premier League fixture. Really excited to see what sort of numbers Edouard can contribute to the team. He really took over the starting striker role in January of season 1, and I'm hoping he can follow that up with a very successful season 2. Nearly a dream debut for Madueke, testing Mendy early on. And you've got to remember, Immobile was the Premier League top goal scorer last year. So for us to shut down Chelsea in this first half, that really went to show that we mean business here in season 2 with Crystal Palace. But it's Mitchell who plays the perfect cross over to Edouard. I was talking about how I wanted him to put up more goals this year, and that's the way to start it. Just a fantastic volleyed effort. Got to give credit to Mitchell for the assist, though, spotting the pass between those Chelsea defenders. We're going to make a change here in the 54th minute, as Herrera will get his first few minutes with us here at Palace. And I've got to say, Sarria was also a solid shot stopper in this one. Chelsea didn't have the best of chances, and neither did we. We just made the most of them. Very similar to our first goal, except from the opposite side now. It's Aouar with some great control to bring that ball down and a pretty easy finish. And it's Mitchell again from this left side. I don't know what was going on with Chelsea's defense, as Herrera will also score a debut goal in this match. 3-0, was not expecting this sort of scoreline at all, and this was very fortunate for Herrera to find the back net, but you have to give credit where it's due. He was in the right place at the right time, and we just knew how to beat this Palace team. Tactics from Vieira were on point, and we'll be starting this Premier League season with 3 points. Off that great result against Chelsea, we'll approach transfer deadline day and review some of the top deals around the world. I found the Florian Wirtz to Liverpool transfer quite interesting, and as we get into the month of September, we are still undefeated in the Premier League. In August, we had a 3-1 win against Liverpool. And in September, we do defeat Spurs 3-2. That puts us second place in the Premier League, the only team that has gone undefeated so far. Due to a lot of consecutive fixtures, we'll need to rotate this side and face a Middlesbrough team that has something to prove as they're newly promoted. These sort of fixtures are very important for squad morale. Not only should we be winning this match, but we can hopefully keep players like Ward happy despite the lack of minutes. But it's Hughes, another one of those players that doesn't feature too much for us, but his first effort, a long shot going off the crossbar and out of play. Maybe this is a new role for Hughes as kind of an impact sub when we can't break down opposition defenses. We can kind of turn to him for those long-range efforts. But it was all us in this first half. We just couldn't seem to score the goal. It's Hughes again from a similar position. It's off the crossbar. And just before the halftime break, it's Matthew Hoppe, who's actually completed the move to Middlesbrough in recent transfer windows after he moved away from Schalke over to Mallorca. That transfer wasn't the best for him, but hopefully he can get his appearances in the Championship IRL and continue to get appearances in the Premier League for this career mode. Chris Richards to feature in the second half as we try to get that goal, but again, it's Middlesbrough on the counter. This wasn't the best marking from Wan-Bissaka, and it wasn't the best defending on my part. I was dragging Richards out of position. Shouldn't be controlling the center backs too often, but you've got to say, looking at the replay, Wan-Bissaka should be getting in front of his man and first to the ball. Still time for us to try to find the leveler and maybe even the winner, but it's the third time we've hit either the post or the crossbar in this one as we try to switch things up, bringing on Jake Gregory, our homegrown talent, and the 80th minute, it's McGree who plays the ball in. Anderson does well to clear it initially. We lose the header though, and it's Hoppe who dribbles right between our defenders and gets a brace. Perhaps a player we should be looking to sign at a later stage of this career mode. But straight after kickoff, it's Riedewald to find Zaha down the left side, and it's going to be a solo run from him, showcasing some of that pace and the acceleration. Just a good finesse shot to the far post. Keeping it simple, and despite all the missed efforts, we're somehow still in this match. We're pretty much at the end with 93 minutes, and it's Gregory who showcases some good strength to hold off the defender. Wish we could have done this sort of thing earlier on in this fixture to bring it 2-3. Obviously, not enough time for us to get the tying goal, and Middlesbrough will be very happy with this result. One thing that I'm very proud of is that despite a loss, we don't seem to stumble too much. A very good month of October as we have a crucial fixture against Arsenal on the 4th of November. Here's a look at the league table. Arsenal in that 5th place spot, but a win could see us leapfrog them in the standings. And even with Saka's departure and the arrival of Olise, who's now up to an 84 rating, he didn't feature in their starting 11. Maybe that's why they lost this match 2-1. Goals from Zaha and Edouard will seal it for us. Our next match against Leicester City will be very important for Sarria, as this is one of the teams that he trialed for in England. Once you get a few months into the Premier League season, you can start to figure out who some of the top players are going to be, and it's no surprise that Zaha is still one of our leading goal scorers at Palace. But you've got to say the defensive improvements have paid off. Sarria showcasing a lot of stops and it's Eze who is going to get the first assist of this match, finding Edouard on the square across. We really rely on both Eze and Aouar to push forward from that center mid role, and I've got to say that the switch to the 4-3-3 attacking has proved to be effective. Despite us conceding more goals at time, we definitely look more dangerous on the attack. We just need to figure out that right balance. It's Madueke who is still yet to score a gameplay goal. Nearly again gets that far post shot, tucked past the keeper and inside the post. The finesse shot just inches wide. It's really a matter of time before Madueke starts to catch form. Harvey Barnes to find Baku, and it's Soria with another stop to keep things level. We will again feature her as an impact sub. It's not a time yet where I can say he's earned the starting role, but he offers something different to Eze, and this was just a bit of fortune for us to force the penalty kick. Zaha running into the defender, just a clumsy tackle from Zamora, who, it's a shame for him because he scored the goal, but then gives up the penalty. Zaha, of course he's going to be converting that, no mistake about it, and we once again have the lead. There is still time for Leicester to get back into this one, but we're looking to answer once again. Madueke to play Edouard into space. Now that he has found his confidence, he has been a goal-scoring threat in every single match. It's not uncommon for him to contribute 2 or even 3. But Madueke, we were talking about how I wanted him to get involved in the goal scoring. A bit of fortune for this finesse shot effort to bounce off of Timber and into the back of the net. You can kind of get a better look at the replay here. But fortune favors the brave, and Madueke had to get into the goal-scoring position in the first place to even get a chance. A great goal to cap off a stunning display from the squad. December is one of the busiest months in the Premier League, and if we can somehow keep these results going, we can push even higher up in the standings. Newcastle have had a very strong start to the year. Obviously, with players like Isak, who is right up there with Premier League top goal scorers, we may have a defensive struggle ahead. These are the sort of matches that we need to be winning because we are on a similar level to Newcastle in terms of ratings. Obviously, they have made some great transfers both in real life and in this save. But right from the get-go, we were already generating opportunities. This chance called back for offside, but it's what I want Edouard to be doing, just finding the gaps between the defenders and getting played through. Very similar here in the 28th minute, initially stopped by the Newcastle goalkeeper and cleared away. But here it is, Edouard, just before the halftime break. This time from a little bit further out, he will find the finesse shot effort to the far post, and he'll give us the advantage. Showcasing everything that's great about him, the pace to get to the ball, the strength to hold off the defender, and of course the finish to get it by Dubravka. It's going to be a change in the 48th minute. Bruno Guimaraes finally being brought on by Eddie Howe. Not sure why he wasn't starting over John Joe Shelby. Perhaps it was an injury or something along the sorts. But we catch Newcastle kind of off guard. You saw Sven Boltman pushing up and making that tackle, and it's Madueke. Now that he scored his first goal for the gameplay, I think there is plenty more to follow. He's got that left foot that he prefers, and of course some great dribbling ability to double our lead. Now that I've had the chance to feature him a few times, I can say he's a very special player. Hoping to hang on to this clean sheet, but 93 minutes in, Newcastle will be bringing up their goalkeeper. The ball kind of bouncing around, and it's Saka who will find Guimaraes. Just some quick passing play and off of the crossbar. Not sure how Anderson wasn't able to get to that ball first. Just some strange defending in this episode. That will not be changing the result though, and we'll get 3 crucial points against Newcastle. We've reached the January transfer window, and following that fixture against Newcastle, we secured some very good results. A 2-2 draw against Manchester City. And I've got to say, Madueke has been such a clutch player for us. He's a big reason why we are top 4 in the Premier League as results stand. As we look mid-table, you've got the likes of Arsenal in 12th, Spurs in 15th, and one of our rivals in this series, Brighton, in the relegation zone. I can't say I've seen this very often in my career mode saves, but our goal contribution is pretty evenly split between our 3 attackers, Madueke, Edouard, and Zaha, putting up some very good numbers, ranking among the top 5 in both the goals and assist categories. I think if we want to keep our place in the standings, some winter arrivals to the squad are needed. And right now we've got 15 million or so in the transfer budget. Make sure to leave your player suggestions in the comments section below. And if you enjoyed this episode, drop a like on it, subscribe if you're new. But until next time, this has been Flick. I'll be talking to y'all again soon.